This is what's called a sports SUV, which has been redone because SUV stands for Sport Utility Vehicle, but it was a pretty simple formula a few years ago. You get a normal SUV, you put a big engine in it, and you give it a nice fancy coat of paint with a new body style. But now, the SUV game has grown so popular and so vast that they've actually started building ones from scratch, not based off of existing models. And big names like Pfister have gone in on the act. So this is the Astron, their latest all-wheel drive sport SUV. It's not very practical of an SUV, I'll give you that, but it's a lot faster than an SUV. Because it's got that coupe style, it's surprisingly aerodynamic for what is essentially a big red barn. And it's got a colossal V8 up front, all-wheel drive. It's a seriously rapid vehicle. It's not Toro's rapid, but it is very, very quick. By far one of the fastest SUVs in the world. And it's comfortable. It is a genuinely good place. It has a good interior. And it is an SUV, so we have to, of course, try it in the utilitarian aspect and head over here. Yeah, we're gonna try off-roading in this thing. I know it's out of its comfort zone, it's not off-road tires and everything, however, it's an SUV. SUVs were designed for this back in the 60s. And to be honest, it's better than I expected. I mean, I'm going through this water here, and it's up to the headlights, and it's just chugging along. That's a lot better than I thought for a sport SUV. It can go through the water. It can mostly deal with bumps. It's a bit clanky, I think is the word I would use. You hit something and it just sort of scrapes and scrapes because there's not much ground clearance. However, it has enough torque, and the all-wheel drive system is good enough that it can climb over just about anything, if you can get the nose over it. And that is a pretty big thing, because, well, yeah, it can't get over this. Not embarrassing in the slightest. The mighty SUV defeated by a small incline. But to be honest, this is not the point of this vehicle. Okay, it's a sports car. You don't take a sporty vehicle through the riverside, over rocks, through the water, up cliff sides. You don't do that. It can just about do it, which is actually very impressive. But that's not its job. Its job is to go on roads like this. We don't have a whole lot of grip because of the snow, but the turning is pretty nice. I'm impressed. It handles a lot better than the Toros and whatever that Ubermacht thing was. It actually has brakes. The engine is not so overpowered that it can't stop, because this thing is heavy, and it's very powerful. But unlike the Toros, it's controllable. I like how this drives on this mountain road. I'm surprised, actually, how good this is. I mean, look at that. You're actually carrying speed. You hit a little crest there. All well and good. But of course, I had to compare it to something, because this is a very expensive vehicle at the end of the day. It's a very big commitment. So why not test it against another Pfister on a technical rallycross stage? This way it tackles both dirt roads and tarmac to get the best of both worlds with a sport utility vehicle. Okay. I'm expecting this to be decent, and nothing more. But all around, should be pretty good. Good all-wheel drive launch. It's a very good launch, actually. Again, very heavy. Not the most powerful SUV, but that's good in the corners, because then I can have the brakes, and I have the turn-in, and I can have the overall grip. Even on this loose surface, it doesn't really want to slide. That's surprising. I know it's all-wheel drive, but this is not on off-road tires or anything fancy. You go over here, you hit on the brakes, and it stops, and it turns. That's a welcome sight for an SUV, and whoa! Suspension's good at dealing with the bumps and the jumps for what it is. It's no Sand King, but in many ways that's good because it doesn't bounce up on the landings. We only got a few more corners to go, one big jump to go. We're going to jump over the hill onto the tarmac. And the landing is again pretty smooth, pretty consistent. One more fast chicane to go, and we are across the line. And another Pfister is a brand new one that I've been wanting to look at for a long time. The Comet S2 Cabriolet. Yes, for the first time ever, we have had a convertible, modern Comet. So it's important to savor them when you have the chance. Now this is obviously not all-wheel drive as shown, but it's a lot lighter, it's more powerful, and well, it's a Comet, one of the best handling sports cars in the game. It's almost clinical in its precision and accuracy around these corners. And for a sports car, it's nice. Okay, you could do better on the traction department on these corners. However, there could be worse. I mean, it's dealing with these bumps, it's dealing with these hairpins relatively well. I'm not getting a crazy amount of oversteer. I'm getting more than the Astron, for sure, but the Astron is all-wheel drive. This is very impressive. It's more fun, I'll tell you that. Big jump. Not too bad on the landing. One more corner to go through the chicane. And the Comet is across the line as well. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I never expected the Comet to actually beat the Astron, and it didn't. It's close, but it's not enough. The Astron SUV did beat the Comet S2. But to be honest, I was just using this as a intro for the Comet, because that's what I really want to talk about. Because I think this might just be one of the best Pfisters in a very long time. For one obvious reason. The Comet S2, when I reviewed that a while ago, was a very good car, make no mistake. I really liked how it handled. But it was a bit boring. I know it's weird telling about a Comet, but when compared to the SR, for example, it was very underwhelming. I loved the SR. It was very raw, very angry, ready to rip your face off. The S2 wasn't. It was just a normal base model, but with this convertible, it brought some of that flair back. And I actually think, bizarrely, they made it handle even better, because the turn-in is very impressive. I'm amazed at how well this vehicle drives. It almost catches me out sometimes on this track. That the handling is just that responsive, and that is with the convertible. So you get all the benefits of the open sky and the louder engine, but you have better handling. That's normally not how these vehicles go, and yet that is how the Cabriolet is. It's a great car, and you know what? I like the paint scheme they delivered it in. This is a hell of a paint scheme, this ultra blue. It looks fantastic. The lines are great. They're not overly drawn out. They're subtle in that German way, but they look a hell of a lot better than the S2 Coupe. It's a great vehicle. And it's fun. It's super fun in the corners to drive. Finally, it is fun once again. If the S2 Coupe was a German engineer, very uptight, very intelligent, very practical, the S2 Cabriolet is that engineer with a bit of beer in him. He's a lot more funny. That is what this car is. It's the best of Germany, combined with a little bit of fun flavoring. It really is one of the best Pfisters ever made.